morning. You're watching NewsX and I'm Meghna Dekha. First up on the bulletin, this very disturbing story of a hate crime from United States. A U.S. Navy veteran has been arrested for allegedly killing an Indian immigrant engineer and wounding two others at a crowded sports bar. Another one of them was an Indian. Adam Purinton, accused of killing Srinivas and wounding his co-worker at Garmin, Alok Madasani. The accused was arrested in Missouri after he told a bartender that he shot two Middle Eastern men and needed a place to hide. In fact, a third man, Grillot, was also shot when he tried to stop the gunman at the Austin's Bar and Grill in Kansas. In fact, Srinivas and Madasani were both of Indian descent. They were working as engineers in the GPS maker Garmin International. In fact, following that, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has condemned the U.S. shootout incident. Taking to Twitter, she wrote, "I'm shocked at the shooting incident in Kansas in which Srinivas has been killed. My heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family."
All day, a heavy police presence in this typically quiet Olathe neighborhood is where neighbors say triple shooting suspect Adam Purinton has lived for almost 20 years.
I never seen him really get angry.
Richard Morris lives next door to Purinton. Morris says Purinton, a 51-year-old Navy veteran, lives alone in this two-story house.
Just quiet and kind of reclusive. The last couple of years since his father died, he didn't see much. He just kind of stayed by himself.
Another neighbor tells Fox 4 Purinton owned several guns and had a battle with alcohol. A look into Purinton's record reveals in 1999 and 2008, he received speeding tickets in Johnson County. A 1999 DUI ticket Purinton got, also in Johnson County, was dismissed. Back in Purinton's neighborhood today, several detectives knocked on doors, talked to neighbors, and showed many of them a picture of the man now charged with killing one person and shooting two others inside a popular restaurant and bar.
A little scared that it was so close to us, so close to home.
Olathe Northwest High School teacher Jennifer Wellborn lives about a block away from the murder suspect's house.
We go to Austin's, we have kids, it's a family place, we enjoy it. You obviously never expect something like that to happen in your neighborhood.
Well, in fact, there were several apprehensions at a time when Trump got elected. Well, let's listen into some of President Trump's rather racist remarks and what students have to say on Trump's entire immigration policy.
Information officer for the Olathe Police Department. Here's who we have with us that will be speaking today at the press conference. Chief Steve Minke, District Attorney for Johnson County Steve Howe, FBI Special Agent in Charge Eric Johnson, and United States District Attorney for the District of Kansas, Tom Beal. Please keep in mind that this is an ongoing investigation, and with that, we have limited information that we are going to be able to provide. At the end of the press conference, we will open it up for a few questions, and I will also...
We are here today regarding the homicide and attempted homicides which occurred last evening at Austin's Bar and Grill, located at 2103 East 151st Street in Olathe, Kansas. Before we start, I would like to first offer my condolences to the families of the victims of yesterday evening's tragic and senseless act of violence. At approximately 7:16 p.m., the Olathe Police Department was notified of shots fired at a local establishment. Officers in the area responded to the scene where three gunshot wound victims were identified. All three victims were transported by Johnson County Med to KU Medical Center. The victims are Alok Madasani, 32 years old, from Overland Park, Kansas, and Ian P. Grillot, 24 years old, from Grandview, Missouri, who both sustained gunshot wounds requiring medical attention and are currently recovering in stable condition. The third victim, Srinivas Kuchibhotla, 32 years old, from Olathe, succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the hospital. Based upon the information developed during the investigation, an individual was identified and taken into custody late last evening in Clinton, Missouri, by the members of the Clinton, Missouri Police Department. The investigation is ongoing, and the Olathe Police Department, working in conjunction with the FBI will continue to investigate any and all aspects of this horrific crime. At this time, I would like to turn the podium over to Johnson County District Attorney Steve Howell for additional comments. Thank you.
Today we filed charges against an individual by the name of Adam W. Purinton. Those charges are one count of premeditated first-degree murder, one and two counts of attempted premeditated first-degree murder. His bond is currently set at $2 million. He is in Missouri at this point, and as you know, with the extradition process, that could either occur within a couple days or a couple weeks, depending on whether or not he waives extradition. At the last time that we checked, he's in Clinton, Missouri, but we hope to have him back in Johnson County in our facility in a short period of time. If you want a copy of the complaint, we will provide that probably within the next 12 to 24 hours. We'll provide a copy of the exact complaint that he is charged with in these cases. To Chief Menke's comments about us being able to provide limited information, in Kansas, we are precluded from going into a lot of details pursuant to Supreme Court Rule 3.6 and 3.8. And I have an ethical obligation, as well as with both my staff and the law enforcement officers, to preclude a lot of information getting out there pursuant to those rules. So if we don't, or if we hesitate in providing you those details, it's not that we don't want to be transparent, but under the Kansas law, we're precluded from doing that. Thank you.
I would now invite to the podium FBI Special Agent in Charge Eric Jackson to make some comments.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to echo the statements by the Chief and also offer my condolences as well. The FBI is actively working with the Olathe Police Department regarding the shootings which occurred last evening at Austin Bar and Grill in Olathe, Kansas. The FBI is tasked with defending civil rights violations committed in the U.S., and our role in this investigation is to work jointly with local law enforcement to determine if an individual's civil rights were violated. In the course of this investigation, if this violent crime is determined to be bias motivated, we will continue to conduct the investigation jointly. It's not uncommon for hate crime investigations to be conducted jointly by the FBI and local law enforcement and prosecuted under the state law. Thank you.
I would now invite the United States Attorney for the District of Kansas, Tom Beal.
I would echo my colleagues' comments, and I would add that the Office of the U.S. Attorney for the District of Kansas will be working closely with the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, and will be evaluating.
Well, in fact, let's go across to our Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, who's joining us with more on this. Well, Geeta, the Minister for External Affairs, Sushma Swaraj, has condoled the death. But from here onwards, what do we expect the MEA to do? How are they going to help the family get repatriated with his body?
Well, Meghna, the fact is that the Ministry of External Affairs and the Indian officials over here, with the Indian mission officials in the United States of America, are in touch with U.S. authorities, and what they are looking at is ensuring that the family members and the entire process and procedure of bringing the mortal remains to India is done smoothly, but it is a serious concern. The bigger issue about hate crime, FBI has intervened now and is looking into the entire matter, investigating whether if it is a hate crime or not with the Olathe Police Department in Kansas City. These are disturbing news that now come from the United States of America. It's not the first time. We know that these attacks have happened in the past as well, but a killing And in the recent past, one of the most dastardly attacks on Indians would be this one particular incident. And it is certainly a prima facie looks like a hate crime, given that the man had gone to another bar and sought refuge over there, saying that he had killed two Middle Eastern people. He's a U.S. veteran, which means that he most probably would have served in one of those countries. The reason why we see such hatred against the Middle Easterns. But nonetheless, it is not about where the people were from. They are of Indian origin, but it certainly has to do with race and the white supremacist ideology that this man had really come with in order to kill those who are not white, who are not from the United States of America, furthering the kind of policies and the kind of narrative and discourse that we hear in the United States of America today.
Well, the reason, Geeta, everyone is very worried about the Trump administration is because let's not forget there are 3.9 million of Indian Americans. The diaspora there is massive. There are so many people who are going to be affected if the social fabric of that country really changes, and that is the essential fear. And let's not forget about 100,000, if I'm not mistaken, Indian students.
Well, that's right. It is a very disturbing fact that has come to the fore, Meghna, with the Indians who have been attacked, one killed, one injured, and the fact that, and like you rightly pointed out, there's a huge diaspora. The immigrants, and most of them from various other countries also have been very worried and fear what the future holds for them in the United States of America, given the policies with regards to immigrants, the policies with regards to people going to U.S. and working over there is changing. And Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, has made that very clear. So there are fears, but all has to be done within the laws of the land. Now, for somebody, a man like this U.S. veteran to have come and taken laws into his own hands and thought it fits to go ahead on a killing spree is what worries people and the authorities now in the United States of America. If there's a policy change, then legally the immigrants would have to go back. The ones who are working there would have to go back if they're not citizens of the United States of America. But it's the rise in hate crime which is a bigger concern today than the fact that there are policy changes that could happen and that are taking place in the Trump administration.
What do you expect is going to be the Indian administration's response? Are they going to get in touch directly with the Trump administration, perhaps view and air some of their opinions, some of their fears as well?
Well, there are Meghna conversations that have been happening between India and the United States of America. And at official levels, various concerns that India has always been raised with the United States of America, be it the H-1B visa issue, the changes in policy that we're looking at by the Trump administration, which could be a concern for India and the Indian authorities. In the past, the fact that there were problems that Indian students had faced with fake universities had been taken up at the ministerial level between the External Affairs Minister and Secretary of State during the strategic dialogue between the two countries. Certainly, similarly, when cases of hate crime or crime against Indians in the United States of America had occurred in the past, it was taken up not just at the ministerial level, but at the highest levels where India had raised concerns regarding safety of Indians in the U.S. And similarly, given that an Indian has been killed, not just attacked, mobbed, or beaten up, but killed, it is going to be a matter of conversation between the two countries. External Affairs Minister and the Ministry of External Affairs in all its conversations with the United States of America will be raising concerns regarding security of Indians, regarding the hate crime or crime against a certain race that India has experienced or Indians have experienced in the United States of America will be a part of the discourse between the officials of India and the United States of America. We do not really know whether Prime Minister Narendra Modi particularly will take it up with Donald Trump when they meet. It could be before the G20 if Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits the United States of America, which is speculative right now, but also surely on the sidelines of the G20 summit, when the two leaders meet, there are going to be a lot of areas that would be discussed, but we do not know specifically whether this incident of hate crime will be spoken of. But concerns regarding India to do with US's changes in its policies are areas of discussion between the two countries at the highest level.
Right. We'll keep tracking the developments there. Hopefully, there is going to be justice at the end of this dark tunnel. Well, thank you so much, Geeta. With that, let's move on in the bulletin and get you some of those earlier speeches coming in from Donald Trump and the reason why there are apprehensions about his immigration policy.
He wasn't wearing one of those hats, was he? Was he wearing one of those hats? And he never will. And he never will. And he never will. And that's okay. But, you know, we got to do something, folks, because it's not working.
If my work visa gets approved, it only comes in October. If not, I will still use, you know, I will be under OPT, but I get maybe just one more chance to apply for an H-1B visa. And if that doesn't work out, then I guess, I mean, like every other person who doesn't get to legally work here, I'll have to go back home. So that's how I planned it out. Trump changing the regulations, it's very iffy. We don't know if we're actually going to get those things. I mean, a lot of us have been talking about this in detail, and we figured that he can't change it for us because we're graduating in May, but he will be changing it for future students who are coming in, and he might not be able to alter it for us, but it's a very scary situation for students coming from India right now.